The bitter truth you are ignoring is this. People do not dislike you because you are selfish. They abuse you because your kindness is cheap. The more you bend to keep the peace, the more invisible you become. You think you are being a good person, but in reality you are just training people how to disrespect you without consequence. True power is quiet. It doesn't scream for validation, and it never kneels just to be accepted. But right now, your energy is being drained by the very people who claim to love you. If you don't change this today, you will spend the rest of your life living as an extra in your own story. Marcus Aurelius once noted that we love ourselves more than others, yet we care more about their opinion than our own. It is time to stop that self-betrayal. In this video, we are stripping away the illusions. We are diving into the 7 toxic behaviors you must stop tolerating immediately, especially from family. If you think your bloodline excuses their disrespect, you are already their prisoner. Let us break the chains. The moment you offer an explanation for a personal decision, you are handing over your power. You are asking for permission. When you say, I can't come because, or I chose this path because, you are telling them that their judgment matters more than your boundaries. The more you explain, the more angles they have to doubt you, manipulate you, and pull you back into their control. Think about it. How many times has a family member used your own explanations as weapons against you? The Stoic master Epictetus taught that your mind is your only true fortress. A fortress does not negotiate with invaders, it simply stands. When a wave crashes against a solid cliff, the cliff does not explain itself to the water, it remains. You do not need to justify your no. A boundary is not a debate. If they demand an answer, your silence is the loudest response you can give. True authority is born the moment you let your decisions stand alone, without a single word of defense. But breaking this habit is dangerous, because when you stop explaining, the people who used to control you will start calling you cold. When you make yourself available to everyone at any time, you are declaring that your time has no value. The toxic people in your life, especially family members, don't respect your schedule because they know you will always drop everything to pick up their crisis. You have become their emotional dumping ground. They look for you only when they need a savior, but they disappear the moment you need a shoulder. And here is the dark truth. By keeping your door wide open, you are actively helping them destroy your peace. Seneca famously wrote that no person is more vulnerable than the one who is always accessible. Your energy is a finite resource, not a public utility. If you do not gate your fortress, you are inviting the chaos of the outside world to burn it down from the within. Denying uncontrolled access doesn't mean you become cruel. It means you become selective. Let them wait. Let them solve their own chaos. The moment you make your presence a privilege rather than a guarantee, their perception of your worth will shift completely. But beware. Once you pull back your availability, they will try to guilt trip you by calling you selfish. And if you cave in now, you lose forever. The path of the people pleaser is a slow, agonizing suicide of the self. Every time you say yes to someone else just to avoid their discomfort, you are saying a violent no to your own soul. You are trading your long-term dignity for 2 minutes of fake approval. You think you are building a bridge of love, but you are actually building a cage of resentment. Look closely at your relationships. Are they loving you, or are they just loving what you do for them? The Stoics looked at the world with absolute clarity. To base your value on whether other people smile at you is to hand them the remote control to your mind. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that people's opinions change like the wind. Trying to please them is like trying to catch smoke with your bare hands. Kill the need to be liked. It is a parasite. True power belongs to the individual who can look a family member in the eye, deliver a hard truth, and watch them walk away without feeling a single ounce of guilt. Honesty will cost you fake friends, but it will save your life. But the real test is just beginning, because once you stop pleasing them, you will have to face the cold wall of their silent treatment. The moment you choose to stand your ground, people will change the narrative about you. They will rewrite history to make you the villain. When you establish your boundaries, toxic family members won't say, "Thank you for protecting your peace." They will say you are cold, ungrateful, or arrogant. And if you have a weak spirit, this is where you will break. You will rush to correct them, pleading with them to understand your pure intentions. But ask yourself this brutal question. Why are you begging for a fair trial in a court run by your abusers? Marcus Aurelius lived by a simple rule. If it is not right, do not do it. If it is not true, do not say it. He never added, and make sure everyone agrees with your choice. The Stoic knows that what people think of you is none of your business. It belongs entirely to their own distorted minds. Let them misunderstand you. Let them believe the worst. Your peace arrives the exact second you stop trying to clear your name. When you remain silent while others gossip about you, you aren't losing. You are demonstrating that their words cannot penetrate your iron shell. But moving past this fear requires an even darker strength, because to truly stop caring about their labels, you must learn to exist in absolute isolation. The ultimate weapon that toxic people use against you is your own fear of being left alone. Because you cannot bear the quiet of an empty room, you tolerate the noise of a toxic family dinner. You allow people to disrespect you simply because you are terrified of having no one to text, no one to call, and nowhere to belong. Your loneliness makes you cheap. It makes you a target for anyone looking for an easy victim. Look at your circle. Are you keeping these people close because they bring you value, or because you are afraid of the dark? Epictetus gave us the ultimate antidote to this dependency. No man is free who is not master of himself. If you require the presence of others to feel complete, you are not a free individual. You are a hostage to their terms. The Stoic masters retreated into their own minds to find strength because they knew that external validation is a drug that leaves you hollow. Stand alone without fear. Solitude is not your enemy. It is your training ground. When you learn to enjoy your own company, you become completely unfazed by threats of abandonment. The person who doesn't fear being excluded is a dangerous adversary because they can never be blackmailed with isolation. Yet the hardest battle isn't with strangers or distant acquaintances. The ultimate test comes when the toxicity is wearing the face of your own bloodline. The most dangerous trap you will ever fall into is the belief that shared blood excuses constant disrespect. Because they are family, you allow them to mock your ambitions, criticize your weight, or treat your boundaries as a joke. You tell yourself that is just how they are, or they mean well. But in reality, you are just tolerating abuse under the label of loyalty. Blood makes you related, but loyalty, respect, and character make you family. Ask yourself, if a stranger treated you the way your relative does, would you still keep them in your life? Seneca observed that we should treat ourselves with the same respect we would demand from a guest in our home. You would never let a guest trash your living room, so why do you let a family member trash your mind? Stoicism is not about being a punching bag of quiet endurance. It is about protecting the sacred nature of your soul. Shut down the disrespect instantly. The moment a relative crosses the line, walk away or meet them with a cold, unwavering boundary. You do not owe your peace to anyone, regardless of who signed your birth certificate. Real family honors your boundaries. Manipulators use guilt to tear them down. But the absolute worst thing you can do is trade your long-term sanity just to keep a temporary peace. Every time you choose comfort over conflict, you are committing a small act of treason against yourself. You swallow your truth, you hide your anger, and you let them step over your boundaries just so you can survive the weekend without an argument. You think you are keeping the peace, but you aren't. You're simply storing their chaos inside your own body, letting it slowly rot your self-esteem and turn into resentment. Consider the cost. How much of your own soul are you willing to burn just to keep everyone else warm? The Stoics taught that the ultimate good is virtue, and virtue requires courage. Marcus Aurelius warned that staying silent in the face of injustice, even when that injustice is directed at yourself, is a form of corruption. True peace cannot coexist with self-betrayal. Let there be conflict, if that is what it takes to protect your mind. It is better to have a loud storm of truth now than a lifetime of silent misery. The moment you decide that your boundaries are non-negotiable, you force the toxic people around you to adapt or to exit your life entirely. And once you make that choice, your entire world changes. You will finally understand what it means to be truly free. From this night on, the terms of your life have changed. No more shrinking so others can feel big. No more begging for a seat at tables where you are not respected. Remember the Stoic path. Speak less. Explain less. Please less. Stand firm, always. When you stop negotiating your value, the world stops trying to bargain with you. You're not here to be tolerated. You're here to build your own fortress. You're finally allowed to choose yourself. Sleep now in the quiet power of your own boundaries.